you entered a plea to account for tampering with the government record. You entered a plea of guilty. The state waives counts 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. The state recommends community supervision. They're opposing your application for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report in state?
Yes, Judge. Yeah.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, I've gone over my client and given him a chance to read at his own pace.
Any objections to the PSI report state?
No objection, Judge.
Defense?
No objection, Your Honor, though. I was kind of taken away that they said a taser was a weapon.
All right.
Was not deadly.
All right. So state, you're opposed to his application for deferred adjudication?
Yes.
You may speak to that.
Yes, Judge. I would just like to briefly, in the stipulations, it is the investigator Trujillo outlined what this defendant did. I would just like to briefly go over that to give the court an idea of what happened.
All right. So just so everyone knows, I am here to listen to whatever you all want to present, but just know that on PSI reports, I've read the PSI report and I've always reread the stipulations that were entered, but you may proceed.
Yes, Judge. So this defendant took advantage of people who he was supposed to be supervising and training in the Bexar County Jail. He was the CERT deputy in charge of cadets and lockdown units with violent offenders, people with ag assaults, murder charges pending. At least 5 individuals claimed that this defendant tased them when they were not consenting to it, when they were not looking, and that he did it in front of inmates, which, you know, jeopardizes the security of the jail and also does not help with the retention issues that the jail is having as well. At least 2 of the victims left after that they were tased because they didn't want to be part of that work environment. Some of them were tased on the arms, legs, back, stomach. Multiple people said they did not want to be tased. He did it anyways. There's evidence that after he tased them and that the victims would ask him, "Why'd you do that?" He would look at them and smile. Some of the people consented to being tased. However, it was under a type of duress. For example, one of the victims went to him asking for clippers so that they could cut the inmate's hair in another unit. And he said, "I'll give them to you if you let me tase you." I also reviewed the PSI, and in the PSI, I noticed that he said that he had been tased before. There's evidence that was uncovered throughout the investigation that he would, when the victims would say, "Hey man, why'd you do that to me? Have you ever been tased?" He would respond back with, "No, and I'm not going to let anyone tase me." So I don't know which part of that is actually true. Judge, I just want to make it very clear that when these reports come out and when all this stuff is happening, they don't say Andrew Garcia was tasing people in the jail. They say a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy was tasing people. He's besmirched the badge of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. This is supposed to be a controlled environment, and he added chaos to an already chaotic environment. By doing this in front of the inmates, it put not only him in jeopardy and the cadets, but also the other inmates. And it is his sole job in the jail to maintain the health and safety of the inmates who are there. I'll leave you with this, Judge. It's the state's position that he needs to carry this conviction. When he was confronted about it, he put on a government record that he does not recall this ever happening. However, in the PSI, he says the reason he did it is because it was done to him. You know, the old saying, if all your friends jump off of a bridge, are you going to do it too? And here it seems like he just went along with it and was tasing all these cadets. I just want to point out one of the individuals, this defendant is 6'10", 245 pounds, at least at the time when he was working there. One of the victims is 5'2" and 112 pounds. And he reported that he was held up against the wall physically and that this defendant would not set him down, that he would put him into an arm bar in front of other inmates and tase him multiple times in front of other inmates. This was not a one-off time, Judge. If it was, I don't think the state would be having such an issue with deferred. It's the fact that we found out that this happened to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals. And the one individual he didn't tase, he would harass. So when he would go to start doing his checks on the inmates, this defendant would point the red dot at him, come up behind him and clack the taser while the cadet was just trying to do his job. Therefore, the state thinks that this defendant should carry a conviction because of the egregiousness and because he has besmirched the badge of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Defense.
besmirching the bad may be horrible, but it's not an offense. Mr. Garcia, do you realize what you did with all
Just
these?
one second. If you're gonna call him as a witness, I need to swear him in.
Please swear him in, Your
All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Andrew Garcia.
All right, defense.
Thank you. And do you realize what you're accused of by tasing and harassing these cadets is not a proper work environment or training environment for them?
100%.
Okay. Have you learned from this not to do something like that?
100%. Yes.
Okay. Were you ever tased? Yes or no?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And is it part of training that everybody's going to get tased sooner or later? Is there normally a time when they get
At a
tased?
time and a place, yes.
Okay. And did you notice anything from the inmates reacting to your alleged misconduct?
I'm sorry?
Did you notice that any of the inmates took the fact that you may have tased somebody as something they could get away with more problems?
Mr. Anton, I do not recall tasing in front of inmates.
So, and this is your first offense,
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay.
Norma. Go ahead.
You're asking the judge to give you deferred adjudication on this, your first offense.
Yes, I am.
And you'll follow any conditions the court gives you to do?
Of course.
Okay. Anything else you want to say real quickly?
I have a newborn baby. This is a first time offender. I do understand what I did was, wrong. I will not do it again. It's a mistake. I'm about to get married here in the next couple of weeks. So I asked for, if you put on deferred, I would greatly appreciate it. I've done my lesson, Your Honor. And I'll never, ever do anything like this again.
Any questions?
Any questions from the state?
Just a few questions. So your attorney asked you, you know that that's not a proper work environment, stuff to do in the work environment, correct? But you understand this is more than just some type of workplace harassment, that was criminal conduct you were doing,
Yes,
where you were housing people who have allegedly committed crimes.
correct.
So in fact, you were committing crimes in the jail.
Correct.
No further questions, Judge.
Nothing else, John?
All right. Mr. Garcia. The state decided to go on count 4 tampering with government records. They didn't go on counts 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, and 7. So when is your wedding?
We are actually going to the marriage license to pick up the proper documents. And then whenever, I guess, they have their scheduling, we'll pick a date, but as soon as possible.
All right, the state is asking for you to have a conviction. If this were counts 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, I would probably have no question about giving you a conviction. But however, you do need to be punished. And punished is not just permanent surrender of your TCO license. So I'm going to give you a choice. I will give you 4 years deferred adjudication. With that, you're going into custody to the Bexar County Jail for 30 days. That's your punishment. Or I will give you a conviction. Which do you choose?
And the conviction, when, are you just giving regular probation? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Your Honor? You want the conviction?
The conviction is no jail time?
No, I mean, that's something you can discuss with your attorney. I will give you 4 years deferred adjudication. With 4 years deferred adjudication as part of your punishment, you're going to the Bexar County Jail today in handcuffs for 30 days, or you will have a guilty conviction on your record. Which do you choose?
The conviction.
And let me ask you this, since you're under oath, why don't you want to go to the Bexar County Jail?
I have a family to support. I am the only one that works within my family. My wife is focusing on her degree. And it's, I don't want to be in jail, Your Honor.
Well, the people you tased, they just wanted to, I'm assuming they were there to support their families as well. So why were you tasing people? And I don't want to hear, because how old are you?
24.
24. I don't want to hear this is like college and people are hazing people. I never understood why people who had been hazed decide to haze other people. So why were you tasing people at the jail who are just there? And I know those cadets are young because I've seen some of them. They're 18. Some of them look as though they're 12. So why were you tasing cadets?
Your Honor, it doesn't make it right. It's a thing that's going around.
Oh, you're saying there are other there are other people at the tasing people at the jail.
The judge is now pressing Garcia on his claim that other people were also tasing cadets at the jail. She wants names, because if this was really a common practice, the court needs to know who else was involved. But Garcia can't provide any names. He says he simply doesn't remember. That answer immediately raises the judge's suspicion, especially because he had just claimed that he was following a pattern of hazing that others had started. The judge makes it clear. He can't blame his actions on others without being able to explain who those people were.
Off the top of my head, Your Honor, it's been a while. I don't.
No, I'm thinking, who tased you? Give me a name. I'm sure the state would like to know these names. So who are the names of the people who were tasing you?
Your Honor, I do not remember.
Of course, you always remember the first person who tased you.
The first person who tased me was in proper training.
Oh, what's their name?
That was.
All of the complainants in this case remember you as tasing them. That's why you're here. So who tased you?
In proper training, it was Deputy Chavez.
No. Not in training, because you were not tasing people in training. I know that sometimes, and I don't know if it's still the case. I think it's not the case. They would tase officers in training so they would know this is the voltage of the taser. This is how it feels. Much like in the military, when they release the gas, so you'll know how to wear your mask properly. No, I'm talking about who tased you improperly, because that's why we're here. You're saying people hazed you, so you're just hazing people. So who are these people who tased you when you were not in training?
Your Honor, I do not remember names.
All right, so who else is tasing people at the jail and tasing cadets other than you? Because that's what you're telling people. You're telling me, you're telling the state, you're telling the attorney that there's tasing happening at the jail. I'm sure those cadets don't want to be tased if it's not in training. So who are these other people who are tasing cadets? We want to know. So tell me who they are. Do you need to sit in the box while you think of the names of the people?
Mr. Randall.
Can you remember any names at all?
I cannot remember any names.
Is there any reason why are you not intentionally not remembering names, correct?
No, I cannot remember.
Oh, I mean, if you want to sit in the box and think about the names, because you can't just throw around people are being tased at the jail by other people and then that's it. Who are these people who are tasing people? There's nothing worse. Well, there may be other things that are worse than people who say, well, I heard. But you're not saying I
I
heard.
heard, yes, ma'am.
You're saying, oh, now you're changing it to I heard?
I haven't seen someone get tased. I've heard of stories of people getting tased, and I just ran with that.
Oh, so he's never seen anybody tased. So now he's not just continuing the hazing that happened to him. He was just tasing people. Your unborn child, is this going to be a girl or a boy?
He's born 4 months old. He's a boy, yes, ma'am.
4 months old. So what if he decides to be a cadet at the jail and somebody like you, who's 6'10", however much you weigh, is tasing him?
I would be unhappy with that.
How unhappy would you be?
Very unhappy. Very unhappy.
And how would you think the work environment would be for your son when they're constantly worried about some guy who's bigger than them tasing them?
As a parent, I would not approve of that work environment, Your Honor.
That's what you did. Some people would call it being a bully, but that's what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
So you deserve a conviction, and I'm going to give you a conviction. Is there anything else from either party?
No, Your Honor, nothing from the defense.
Nothing further from the state judge.
All right, where are you working?
Alamo.
All right, court is going to sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting. Oh, and if I haven't said it before, I'm finding you guilty. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular UAs. There's to be the permanent surrender of your TCOL license. And I know sometimes people will give up their T-code license, but then they go to another state and they're allowed to become officers again. So while you're on this probation, there's to be no employment as a security officer, any field of employment which requires you to supervise others. Probation, is there any type of anti-bullying course for him? All right, you're going to take somebody's anti-bullying course, so you can understand the impact that you have when you bully people.
Sure.
There's to be no contact with any of the complainants. That's Dayton Lopez, Xavier Garcia Rios, Efrain Acosta. Probation, is there anything else? Oh, 200 hours of community service restitution. Court is not waiving any of those hours, and I'm going to require parenting classes. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
Want to just give you anything, help you at all. This is your time to ask.
Sir, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful on this probation?
No, no.
All right. I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Sure.
All right, we can go off the record. I understand why you don't want to do your time at the Bexar County Jail. And you know what? I know it has to do with people in the box and security for you at the Bexar County Jail. So that heavy beating of your heart, that's the heavy beating that all of those cadets had whenever you were on shift. And you need to remember that. Do you